story of the wife who came home early. Hey there, you brave, twisted souls. Welcome back to RV Horror Stories. You're in for a wicked treat today as we plunge into 5 spine-tingling tales that'll creep into your dreams and stay there. I'm pumped you're joining me. This channel's brand spanking new, and these stories, they're the kind that grab you by the throat and won't let go. I'm obsessed, and I know you'll be too. Thanks for dropping in. Before we dive into the darkness, smack that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It means the world to me. We're a fresh channel, clawing our way to 1,000 subscribers, so hop on board and help us hit that goal. I'm beyond grateful for you all. Let's kick off this creepy ride. Now, let me pull you into something that'll make your skin crawl. Picture this. I'm married to Emily, this fiery, sweet woman who's my whole world. We'd been hitched for 8 months, living that dreamy life up in the misty hills of rural Vermont. Our little house sat snug against the woods, the kind of place where you hear owls hooting at night and the stars feel close enough to touch. We had good jobs, hers helping folks, mine tinkering with words, and a couple of beat-up cars that roared like they owned the road. Life was smooth, easy, like a warm blanket on a cold night. We'd sit on the porch sipping coffee, talking about getting a dog, maybe a scruffy mutt to chase sticks. Kids. Yeah, that was on the horizon too, shimmering like a promise we couldn't wait to keep. Then one morning, everything flipped upside down. The phone buzzed and Emily answered it, her face going pale as a ghost. It was the cops, her parents, gone, smashed up in a car crash on some winding back road. I held her while she sobbed, her tears soaking my shirt, her whole body shaking like a leaf in a storm. I'd never seen her like that, so small, so lost. The days after blurred into wakes and funerals, folks in black whispering condolences, the air heavy with grief. Then came the will, and oh man, it was a shock that hit us like a freight train. Her folks left her their estate, 200 acres of wild, sprawling land hugging Lake Champlain, with a mansion that looked like it belonged in a movie. We just stared at each other, jaws dropped, half laughing, half freaked out. So we packed up our life, sold the house, waved bye to the cars, and hauled everything up to that big, creaky place. At first, it was thrilling, like stepping into a fairy tale. The lake glittered outside the windows, and the trees swayed like they were whispering secrets. But the second we settled in, something felt off. That house didn't just sit there, it loomed. It was massive, sure, but it had this way of closing in on you, like the walls were breathing down your neck. The air felt thick, stale, like it was holding grudges. You could yell your lungs out in one room, and the sound wouldn't even ripple to the next. I'd wander the halls, boots echoing on the hardwood, and swear the shadows stretched longer than they should have. I told Emily I was warming up to it, but that was a lie. Alone, that place turned my stomach. The floors groaned like they were alive, the windows rattled even when the wind was still, and every time I passed a mirror, this icy prickling danced up my spine. It was like something, or someone, was watching me, just out of sight, waiting. I'd shake it off, tell myself it was the old pipes or the house settling, but deep down, I knew better. That mansion had a pulse, and it didn't like me. Emily worked late most nights out in Burlington at a care home, tending to folks from 4 till midnight. Left me rattling around that big, empty beast of a house. Usually I'd savor the alone time, kick back with a book, scribble some thoughts, or pack my bong and melt into a movie with the volume cranked. Those nights were my escape, the weed fuzzing out the unease, the flickering screen pulling me somewhere safer. This night was one of those. Friday, 8 o'clock, the perfect setup. I lit up, took a few deep hits that made my head swim, grabbed a blanket and popped open a couple beers. The buzz settled in, warm and lazy, and I figured I had hours till Emily rolled in. Plenty of time to sink into my flick and let the world fade away. Halfway through, a sound snapped me out of it, a low thud from downstairs. I froze, beer halfway to my lips, ears straining. Just the house, I muttered, brushing it off. It loved playing tricks, creaks, knocks, little noises that'd make you jump, then feel dumb about it. But then, slam. Something heavy hit the floor. My heart kicked into overdrive, thumping so loud I could hear it. I stumbled off the couch, blanket tangling around my legs, and crept downstairs, each step a slow, shaky descent into the dark. The kitchen light was on, glowing soft and yellow. I knew I'd switched it off. My mouth went dry, palms slick with sweat. Tiptoeing to the big doorway, I heard it, shuffling like someone rooting around. Dread coiled tight in my chest, squeezing the air out. I peeked around the wall, and there she was. Emily. Relief crashed over me, and I barked out a laugh. "Jesus, woman, you scared the hell out of me." She jumped, spinning around, eyes wide. "Oh, God, don't sneak up like that," she shot back, clutching her chest. "Sneak up? I thought I was dead meat. Couldn't you holler or something? Why are you home so early? Rachel cool with that?" She shrugged, casual as anything. "Yeah, she's fine. I just wasn't feeling it." "You okay?" I pressed, scanning her face. She looked fine. Too fine, maybe, with this sly little glint in her eyes. "Totally," she said, smirking. "Just didn't want to be there." That threw me. Emily never ditched work, and here she was, acting like it was no big deal. Then I spotted the grocery bags on the counter, spilling over with stuff. "What's on the menu?" I grinned, leaning in. Her face lit up, all mischief. "Chicken Alfredo." "Oh, damn, you're spoiling me. Need help?" She turned, knife already in hand, slicing into the chicken. "Nope," she said, voice smooth as silk. Then she pointed that blade right at me, slow, her eyes locking on mine with this wild, hungry spark. "Tonight's all about you," she purred, the tip inching closer. "I'm cooking this for you, and maybe later you can pay me back." That grin, sharp, dangerous, and oh so tempting. I swallowed hard, heat creeping up my neck, and watched her dance around the kitchen, all confidence and tease. Gave her a quick pat on the butt and mumbled something about finishing my movie. Upstairs, I flopped back down, heart still racing, but 15 minutes later she slinked in, knife still dangling from her fingers. "Dinner's ready," she said, low and slow, then vanished. I shuffled down, and holy hell, the table was a sight. Plates steaming, candles flickering, like something out of a dream. Too perfect. "You outdid yourself," I said, fumbling for my phone. "Gotta get this on Instagram." Realized it was upstairs, bolted up, but couldn't find the damn thing. Probably lost in the couch mess. Leaned over the railing and yelled, "Call my phone, would ya?" She laughed, sharp and playful. "Nope. Earn that pic." "Come on, my food's coolin'." Silence. I rummaged around, cursing under my breath, till it buzzed, under a shirt on the floor. Emily's name on the screen. "Finally," I grumbled, hanging up. Stood to head down, and it rang again. Her again. "What now?" I answered, annoyed. "Excuse me? What's with the finally? Why are you snapping at me?" She fired back. "You wouldn't call my phone," I said. "Sorry, I can't just drop everything." I'm at work, busy as hell. My blood turned to ice. Wait, what? I've got an hour left, she said. Called to say I miss you, but you're being a jerk. So you're not here, not in the kitchen? My voice cracked, barely a whisper. She laughed. In the kitchen? Nice try. No, I thought you were home. There's someone here, looks just like you. I choked, legs buckling. Lock the bedroom door now, she hissed, panic rising. Grab something, anything, I'm calling the cops. Babe, who the hell is this? I stammered, fear clawing at me. It's my sister. Cops showed up later. Too late. She was gone. They found arsenic in the Alfredo, the knife stabbed into the table, and a scribbled note. The house is mine. Emily broke down after, told me about her twin, Lauren, crazy, locked up, cut off from the family, till the crash. Now those chills, those eyes I felt, they're real, and they're still here. The story of the man who lived in the girl's house. All right, buckle up, because this one's gonna slither right under your skin. Imagine I'm scratching out these little notes to Rachel, the woman whose house I've turned into my own twisted hideout up in rainy Seattle. Took me a whole week to sniff out her Wi-Fi password, 7 long, sweaty days thinking she'd chucked it in the trash. I tore that place apart, heart pounding, till I found it, scribbled on a crumpled post-it, shoved in the utensil drawer next to the spoons. Who does that? Everything about how she keeps this place is a riddle. Stuff flung wherever, like she's stopped caring. Guess that's what happens when you're rattling around alone now, huh? I overheard her on the phone once, voice all shaky, talking about some guy, Michael, maybe, saying how tough it is flying solo. But she's not alone, not really. She's got me creeping around up here. There's this jagged split in her roof, right above the living room, where I can press my eye and watch the street below. Rain streaks the view, but I don't mind. It's my little window to her world. No need to freak about the roof. It's cramped as hell up here, but that's how I like it. Cozy, tight, mine. I've dragged some junk from her recycling bins, old newspapers, a busted umbrella, random crap, and wedged it into the corners to make it even snugger. She won't notice it's gone. I'll squat there, face smashed against the wall, breath fogging up the cold wood, watching folks hustle by under their hoods. That's how I caught her with those people in black coats one day. Weird as hell, she never has visitors, but there they were, all somber, rubbing her shoulders, holding her hands like she was fragile. My stomach twisted, thinking they'd tromp inside, boots stomping my quiet. But they just piled into a car and peeled off, leaving me to sigh in relief. It hit me then. Someone else used to haunt this place. Explains the extra dresser in her bedroom, stuffed with faded shirts that aren't hers, or why she's got this big, echoey house all to herself. She does oddball stuff, like stashing the Wi-Fi code with the forks, or parking in front of the TV all weekend, eyes glazed, watching reruns of some cheesy sitcom. Not that I've got room to talk. I'm hooked on my own weird toys. Found this blob of blue tack under her couch, and I'll squish it till my fingers ache, though it tastes like regret if I lick it. Then there's this old lighter I flick on and off, the tiny flame dancing in the dark, and a kaleidoscope I nabbed from a junk drawer. Twist it, and the colors spin me into a trance. I'll lose hours up here, staring into that thing, or just lean back, listening to her shuffle around downstairs, dishes clanking, the shower hissing. Sometimes I'll scuttle up the walls, press my ear to the pipes, Let the waters rush hum through me like a lullaby. She's a loner, no guests ever, so once I cracked her routine, I could roam free. It's a deal, see? She gives me a warm nook and that sweet Wi-Fi, and I keep her place spider-free. No thanks needed. I'm a silent hero up here. I crashed in her linen closet once, buried under musty towels, before I claimed the roof. Caught her freaking out over a spider under the sink, swinging a broom like it was a monster. Laughed so hard I nearly choked. Doesn't bother me, though. 8 legs or none. I'll crunch anything that sneaks in, except me, of course. My rent's paid in pest control, fair and square. I try not to swipe much, keep it low-key, but her socks, she's got stacks of them, a whole drawer overflowing. Why's one woman need that many? I'll snag a pair, unravel the threads slow, wrap 'em tight around my fingers till the tips go numb and purple, nibble them, and it's like nothing. Wild, right? Food's trickier. I stick to scraps she leaves out or tosses. Banana peels? She ditches them, and I'm baffled. I'll stretch my jaw wide, drop 'em in whole. No chewing, just a quick gulp. Don't need much to keep ticking, but butter. Oh, that's my guilty pleasure. Not to eat, just to mess with. She left a stick by the window once, all melty in the sun. I poked it, swirled it, turned it into a greasy puddle. Panic hit when I heard her key, smashed it back into a rough square, and bolted to the closet under the stairs. That dusty tomb full of men's boots and coats she never touches. Watched her shuffle in through the crack, but she didn't even clock the butter. Just brewed tea, gave up halfway, and crumpled into sobs, tears splashing the counter. Ordered takeout, poked at it, then trashed it. Her quirks are a mystery, I swear. When the nights get rough, I'll slide under her bed while she sleeps. Her breathing's soft, steady. I match mine to it, lying there in the dark, chest heaving in sync. If she stirs, heads to the bathroom, I go statue still, holding my breath till she's back. It's a thrill, a little game. She's the first person I've ever wanted to stick close to. One night, she cooked. Real cooking, not just microwave junk. Music blared, which she never does, and she whipped up something wild, a million spices swirling in the air. I crept to the stairs, peeked down, saw her swaying with a spoon like she was in a trance. Had to clamp my mouth shut to keep from laughing. Then I saw it. 2 plates on the table. My heart slammed. Someone else here? I scrambled up to the ceiling, clinging like a bat, panic clawing at me. She served up 2 steaming dishes, but no one came. She lit a candle, ate alone, then dumped the extra. Relief washed over me, but it stung. She'd set a place for a ghost. Next day, she didn't leave for work. Mid-afternoon, she ran a bath, stayed in way too long. This sick, gnawing feeling grew in my gut. I crawled to the landing, nudged the bathroom door, saw her hand dangling over the edge, limp, a thin red line trickling down. My brain screamed. I bolted back upstairs, dove under my junk pile, tears burning. Pictured her blood pooling on that fluffy pink mat, wanted to claw my way out of this house, out of my skin. Mostly I thought of her. None of it added up. I'm sorry I torched her roof. It was the only way I could think to call for help. That recycling crap went up fast, flames licking the dark better than I'd dreamed. I curled up in the stair closet, hands over my ears, till the door crashed in and they hauled her out. Shouts, chaos, but they got her. One guy said she was still breathing. My little kingdom's ash now, a black scar over her house. Most of my stuff's gone, but I grabbed the kaleidoscope, clutching it like a lifeline. I'm not scared, though. She'll heal. Come back, and I'll be waiting. No one should be alone. A Strange Christmas Story. Hey there, you brave, twisted souls. Welcome back to RV Horror Stories. You're in for a wicked treat today as we plunge into 5 spine-tingling tales that'll creep into your dreams and stay there. I'm pumped you're joining me. This channel's brand spanking new, and these stories, they're the kind that grab you by the throat and won't let go. I'm obsessed, and I know you'll be too. Thanks for dropping in. Before we dive into the darkness, smack that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It means the world to me. We're a fresh channel clawing our way to 1,000 subscribers, so hop on board and help us hit that goal. I'm beyond grateful for you all. Let's kick off this creepy ride. Now, let's slip into something that'll twist your mind and leave you questioning everything. I'm 24, living in Portland, Oregon, but I grew up in sun-soaked San Diego, summers full of barbecues, beach runs, and family dodgeball games in the backyard. That's what I missed most when I moved north after college, chasing a fresh start. Portland's gray, damp winters were a far cry from the golden Christmases I knew, and I hadn't seen my folks or my little brother since before everything shut down a few years back. Family's messy. We've got baggage, sure. My parents and brother, Ethan, are this tight-knit trio, always in sync, while I'm the oddball, the one who never quite fit. Throw in my anxiety. Yeah, I've got a fancy diagnosis for it. And you've got a recipe for me feeling like the black sheep. 2024 rolled around and I decided it was time to go home for Christmas. San Diego in December. It's flip-flops and sunshine, the kind of holiday I'd been craving. Portland's dreary chill, even with twinkling lights, couldn't hold a candle to it. I'd been working with a therapist, trying to untangle my habit of blowing things up in my head, making monsters out of molehills. Maybe heading back would prove all those sour feelings about my family were just my own warped lens. Our old vacation spot was this funky little beach house in Encinitas, a short hop from the waves. That's where we always landed for the holidays, and I couldn't wait to sink my toes in the sand again. On the drive down from the airport, my parents spilled that Ethan was bringing his girlfriend, Olivia. I'd heard plenty about her. Mom and Dad couldn't shut up about how perfect she was, how she slotted right into our clan. It stung a little, hearing them gush like she was the daughter they'd always wanted. They'd all jetted off to Joshua Tree together last year, left me out, and came back with stories of starry nights and desert hikes, pics plastered all over Facebook. Olivia was always behind the camera, never in the shots. I'd spent too many late nights scrolling Ethan's profiles, trying to piece her together, half hoping they'd crash and burn so I wouldn't feel so replaceable. Her Instagram? Locked tight, just a blurry profile pic of a mannequin head with a dark wig. Useless. We got to the beach house first, me and my parents, with Ethan and Olivia due the next morning. Listening to Mom and Dad ramble about their retirement adventures, cruises, road trips, a cushy life, while I sat there invisible, was rough. They raved about Ethan's job, Olivia's charm, how proud they were, but never once asked about me. Not that I had much to brag about, an admin gig going nowhere, no boyfriend to speak of, barely scraping by in Portland. My life since college felt like a flat tire, and I hadn't even explored much beyond my rainy bubble. Next morning, Ethan's beat-up Jeep crunched into the driveway. The golden boy had arrived. I'd packed extra anxiety meds, half tempted to double up just to survive this. He hauled in bags, and his scruffy mutt barreled past, slamming into me with slobbery paws. I hate dogs, terrified of them, and Ethan hadn't warned me. I bolted to the bathroom, splashing water on my face, trying to breathe. By the time I calmed down, Ethan and Olivia were sprawled on the couch in the living room. Growing up, we all had our spots. Dad in the recliner, Mom on the wicker chair, me and Ethan splitting the couch. He took the left, I took the right. Now Olivia was parked in my spot, and it hit me like a slap. Then I saw her, really saw her. She wasn't a person. She was a mannequin, stiff as a board, black wig perched on her blank head, no eyes, no mouth, just faint dents where a face should have been. Her plastic arms were bent awkward, propped up like she was lounging. I laughed, sharp and shaky. "Okay, where's Olivia? What's with the doll?" They all stared at me like I'd lost it. Ethan glanced at the mannequin, then back at me, deadpan. "This is Olivia. What, you blind now?" My parents didn't crack a smile, just watched me, worried I'd spoil something. I blinked, waiting for the punchline. Hi, Olivia," I mumbled, sticking out a hand like an idiot. No handshake, obviously. Silence hung heavy. Then they all burst out laughing at something I didn't catch. The dog leapt up, licking the mannequin's smooth, pale face. Ethan grinned. Such a mama's boy. I stumbled to my room. Well, the guest shed out back now since Ethan claimed our old shared space with his girlfriend and tried to wrap my head around it. My family wasn't big on pranks. This felt too weird, too much. Was this gonna be the whole damn holiday? I needed answers, but couldn't face them head on, not after how they'd looked at me. So I called Grandma, my lifeline, the one who got me when no one else did. She was at my uncle's for Christmas, probably busy with the grandkids, and didn't pick up. Typical. Mom poked her head into the shed later, all stern. "Why are you hiding? You're freaking everyone out." I apologized, promised I'd come in soon. She started sliding the door shut, then stopped. "And get over whatever beef you've got with Olivia. She can tell you don't like her. She's a sweetheart, and I won't have her feeling unwelcome. Pull it together and act like you give a damn about this family." Her words cut deep, icy and sharp, and she was gone before I could choke out a reply. That just broke me. I sat there, tears streaming, wondering why they'd guilt me over a freaking doll. Was this some sick game? Dinner was torture. I played along, smiling, asking Ethan how they met, watching Olivia sit there, untouched plate in front of her. She only moved when I wasn't looking. Someone was shifting her, and it made my skin crawl. I took my dishes to the sink, glanced back, and her head was turned, staring right at me. I shivered, forced a grin, kept moving. Christmas gifts were a bust. I'd brought little trinkets from Portland, nothing for them to give me, though they all swapped presents, even Olivia. She got perfume from Mom and Dad, a towel and swimsuit from Ethan. I'd grabbed her a tiny beaver statue, a nod to Portland's weirdness. Maybe they'd start pretending it was alive too. Christmas Day, we hit the beach, San Diego tradition. I forgot a swimsuit, stuck in shorts with my e-reader. Mom walked the dog. Dad and Ethan swam, leaving me and Olivia on the towels. She sunbathed, flat as a plank, sunglasses over her eyeless face. "This is bullshit," I muttered to her. "Pretending you're real. It's not funny. Why are they doing this? Do they hate me that much?" I snatched the glasses off her, slipped them on myself. She didn't need them. Flicked her plastic cheek. Heard the hollow tap. Mom stormed back, face dropping. "What's wrong, sweetie?" she cooed, leaning close to listen to Olivia. Then she snapped my name, venom dripping. "Why'd you say that? What's wrong with you?" Ethan and Dad splashed out of the water, furious. "You attacked her," Ethan growled. "Did you come back just to ruin everything?" It was a nightmare. They knew what I'd said, but how? No one was around. A recorder? My head spun. The ride back was dead quiet. I bolted to the shed, packed my bags. Joke or insanity, I was done. Booked an Uber to the train station in Oceanside, figured I'd crash somewhere and fly back early. No one said goodbye as I left, and I was glad. Only as the car pulled away did I see the mannequin in the window. Blank face watching me go. Grandma called later, clueless about the mess. "Met Olivia yet?" I asked, voice wobbly. "Oh, she's quiet but lovely," she chirped. "So glad you got to see her." 30 hours back to Portland gave me time to stew. I dodged questions at work about the trip. Couldn't explain it. Was I cracking up, my anxiety conjuring this? Or did they hate me enough to stage it all, push me out for good? Either way, it's a horror I can't shake. The story of the man who pretended to be a dog. Hey there, you brave, twisted souls. Welcome back to RV Horror Stories. You're in for a wicked treat today as we plunge into 5 spine-tingling tales that'll creep into your dreams and stay there. I'm pumped you're joining me. This channel's brand spanking new, and these stories, they're the kind that grab you by the throat and won't let go. I'm obsessed, and I know you'll be too. Thanks for dropping in. Before we dive into the darkness, smack that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It means the world to me. We're a fresh channel, clawing our way to 1,000 subscribers, so hop on board and help us hit that goal. I'm beyond grateful for you all. Let's kick off this creepy ride. All right, brace yourselves. This one's gonna crawl right into your nightmares. My name's Riley. I'm 13 and I live in this sleepy little town called Boone, North Carolina, tucked up in the mountains where the trees loom like they're hiding something. My best friend in the whole world was Daisy, this goofy 9-year-old golden retriever with floppy ears and a tail that wagged like a metronome. She'd been with me since I was a kid, always there to flop her head in my lap when I was down, her big brown eyes promising everything'd be okay. Then, 3 weeks ago, everything went sideways. It started one foggy evening when Mom and Dad came home, all teary-eyed, carrying what they swore was Daisy. She'd gone missing a month back, slipped her collar on a walk, and vanished into the woods. We'd searched for days, me bawling my eyes out, taping flyers to every pole in town. Nothing. So when they rolled up with her, I should have been over the moon, right? Except it wasn't Daisy. It was a man, a creepy middle-aged guy, maybe 40, stark naked except for Daisy's patchy golden fur draped over him like some sick costume. Mom dropped to her knees, sobbing, "Oh, our sweet girl's back." Dad scratched behind what was supposed to be Daisy's ear, but I saw it, the pink, human ear underneath, peeking out as the fur slipped. My little brother, Caleb, just hugged his neck, burying his face in the rolls of this guy's back like it was Das, still her soft coat. I stood there, frozen, stomach churning. This wasn't my Daisy. She didn't stumble around like that, tripping over her own paws, except they weren't paws. They were hands and knees, knobby and awkward. He crawled weird, shifting his weight like he'd never moved on all fours before, like he was still figuring out how to play dog. The worst part? I think he believed it. He'd bark when Mom or Dad coaxed him, this deep, gravelly voice that sounded nothing like Daisy's happy yips. He'd growl during tug-of-war with Caleb, dropping into this fake playful stance, drool dribbling down his chin, his bare skin on full display. And that tail, whatever was left of it, he'd wag it, this sad, stitched-on thing that made my eyes sting every time I looked. He'd sit by the door when the leash came out, panting with this freaky, lopsided grin, tongue lolling like he couldn't wait to prance around the yard. I tried telling Mom once, cornered her in the kitchen. "That's not Daisy," I whispered, voice shaking. She just stroked his head, his human head, and sighed. "Don't say that, Riley. Look how happy she is to be home." Happy. That first night I heard scratching outside my window, peeled back the curtain, and there he was in the backyard, clawing at the dirt with bare hands, nails black with mud, muttering under his breath between sharp, panting gasps. I didn't sleep, just sat there, wide-eyed, listening to him dig like a maniac. Morning came and I crept outside. There it was, a sloppy hole by the fence, dirt flung everywhere, and at the bottom Daisy's old collar. The leather was shredded, the buckle crusted with something dark. Blood, maybe. My knees wobbled. Then his voice slithered behind me, low and rough. "You shouldn't be out here." I spun around. He was crouched, head tilted, staring at me like he was trying to figure me out. His hands twitched, filthy, reaching, but I bolted before he could grab me. "Daisy, come here, girl," Dad called from the porch, and he scampered off, barking, tail wagging, glancing back at me with that tongue hanging out. Since then, he's glued to me. Follows me around the house, sniffing my shoes, licking my legs with that warm, wet tongue till I gag. I'd yell at him to stop, and Mom'd snap, "Riley, quit being mean to her." They'd make me pet him, his skin clammy under that patchy fur, and he'd bark, all cheerful like it was a game. Nights are the worst. He sits outside my door, whining soft and pitiful, scratching the wood till it splinters. Last night he shoved it open. "Scoot over," he growled, climbing into my bed before I could scream. He curled up next to me, knees tucked to his chest, head on my pillow, reeking of dirt and sweat and something sour I can't name. I lay there, stiff as a board, heart hammering, while he whimpered and mumbled in his sleep. Human words clear as day, hot breath on my neck. No one believes me. They think it's Daisy, Mom, Dad, Caleb, all cooing over him like he's still my best friend. I'm the only one grieving her, the real her, and it's tearing me apart. He won't stop. He's always there, watching, waiting. I'm scared out of my mind, stuck between thinking I'm losing it or they're all in on some cruel trick. Either way, I'm trapped with him, and I don't know how much longer I can take it. Well, there you have it, you brave souls. 5 unexplainable, true scary stories that'll make you think twice before parking your RV anywhere too quiet. We started in Salem, where Ethan's necromancy woke something dark in that poor cat, a growl that still echoes in his nightmares. Then Austin, where those red eyes stared through the night, leaving him wondering what's stalking him. Out in Tennessee, a shadowy figure followed 2 brothers home from the woods, scratching at the edges of their lives. Tacoma brought us JC's Watcher, lurking outside his window and haunting a military base with that 4 a.m. chill. And in Bangor, a whispering man turned a creaky old house into a memory that won't fade. These aren't just tales. They're real, raw, and sent in by you, the fearless ones who live this stuff. So, What do you think? Did Ethan unleash a curse? Was that Austin creature a chupacabra or worse? Is something still out there in those Tennessee trees? I want to hear it all. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me which story's keeping you up tonight. And hey, if you've got your own unexplainable horror story, don't keep it to yourself. Send it to the email in the description. I read everything, and yours could be next. If these RV horror stories gave you the creeps, smash that like button. Let me know you're out there loving this as much as I do. Share this video with your friends, the ones who dare watch it alone in the dark. I dare you. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We're building a crew of thrill seekers here, and I've got more real horror stories coming your way every week. Stuff too wild to miss. Thanks for riding along, you legends. This is your channel name, signing off. Sleep tight if you can.